Hey, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome back to Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host, Andrea. Back to bringing news and commentary you can use. Listen, I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday morning. I'm here. I have my laptop in front of me, and I'm drinking coffee out of my what? Andrea Speaks TV coffee mug, or, we can just call it a mug because you can put tea, whatever you prefer in it, water if you even like that. Listen, click the link in the description, and you can order yours as well as other merchandise, okay? But listen, y'all, I want to come on this morning. I have said before here on the channel that our country is really facing an education crisis. And, it seems like at times maybe some don't necessarily want to acknowledge it. And I always encourage parents, okay, to get involved, know what's happening with your child or children's school. That could include joining the PTA, Parent Teacher Association, or Parent Teacher Organization, if they call it PTO. Going to the school board meetings, finding out what's going on, connecting even with the child's school, meeting the principal, the teachers, and not only finding out what ways, or not only finding out what's going on in the school, but also finding out ways that you can support and be involved, okay? But listen, y'all, I want to talk about a specific city in this video, Chicago, Illinois, to be exact. And I want to talk about their, what seems to be what I would call an education crisis there. And I want to talk about why we all, okay, should be concerned. Listen to this, y'all. It has been said, okay, according to my sources, that Mayor Brandon Johnson, the current mayor of the city of Chicago, Illinois, is out to what some have called destroy Chicago's best schools. Okay, now when I saw this headline, I said, wait, what in the world? Why would someone want to do that, right? But listen at what's happening, y'all. Very concerning, okay? And I'm going to break this down a little bit further. Now, according to my sources, okay, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, and what they're saying are his pals, okay, on the city's Board of Education, okay, according to my sources, these are not my words, have raised alarms after unveiling new plans that would potentially handicap high-performing students. Now, you may say, okay, Andrea, what are these new plans? Y'all know I got you right. Hold on. Okay. Now, according to my sources, okay, they're even saying that Mayor Brandon Johnson, or at the time of his campaign, rather, as he was campaigning for mayor, they said that he actually promised during his campaign that, and I quote, a Johnson administration, okay, at the time saying if he were to be elected, would not end selective enrollment. Okay, they're calling it selective enrollment at Chicago public schools. Okay, now that he's, so basically what they're saying, y'all, is that during his campaign, he promised, okay, that, and I quote, a Johnson administration would not end selective enrollment at CPS or Chicago public schools. Okay, now fast forward that he's in office. Now, okay, allegedly, his Board of Education is pushing forward a plan to end selective enrollment and, what my sources are saying, and for students to attend their neighborhood schools. Now, here in the state of Georgia, certain school districts have what's called school choice, okay, for just to kind of give you some context. And for example, there are certain schools, right, that students who do not live in those neighborhoods or zip codes, they're able to attend based on certain academic criteria. Maybe they have to have certain test scores or a certain grade. They have to keep a certain grade point average and other factors, right? There may be even some performance criteria that they have to meet, such as like in the area of arts or something like that, right? And so if parents, for whatever reason, okay, in those school districts that have what, some may call school choice program, or the school choice option, if the parents are not satisfied with their neighborhood school, for example, whether it's low performing, they don't necessarily like the, maybe it's just something about the school or the area they don't like, then parents have the option to send their child or children to select schools, okay, whether it's throughout the district that are outside their neighborhood zone school based on where they're located, they have that option. Okay. This kind of sounds like what they have set up in Chicago. To me, it reminds me of the school choice option. However, they call it selective enrollment. Okay. So basically, what they're saying is, although, okay, allegedly, at the time, Brandon Johnson, who was campaigning to become mayor of Chicago, we know that he's in the position now. He said on his campaign, I'm going to say it again, y'all, and I quote, that a Johnson administration would not end selective enrollment at CPS schools. Now, allegedly, okay, according to my sources, his Board of Education is pushing forward a plan to end selective enrollment and force students to attend their neighborhood schools. Okay, so whereas, to me, the way I interpret this is, whereas parents had the option in Chicago, okay, Illinois, to send their children, let's say they didn't like their neighborhood school for whatever reason, they wanted to send their child, whether they're high performing or maybe they had a special gift or talent, something like that. They want to send them to a certain school that may have been across town or somewhere like that, right? Outside their normal neighborhood area. Now, that option is being taken away. Okay, what's really going on in Chicago is my question. Now, that selective school enrollment that Johnson is opposed to helps academically. Listen to this, y'all, okay? That selective school enrollment that Johnson is opposed to helps academically gifted, low-income students get into higher quality charter and magnet schools, okay, that are also a part of the school choice, as I was sharing, okay? They have certain schools, charter schools, magnet schools, right, that are the highest performing in the city and among the best in the country, okay? But, okay, according to Johnson, allegedly, he's saying, okay, according to my sources, but academic achievements are racist, okay, according to Johnson and his broken worldview. What they're saying is his broken worldview, okay? Here's a quote that says, our current system of school choice, that's what I said, y'all, school choice, sorts students based on test scores and other things, okay? That's according to Chicago Board of Education Vice President Elizabeth Todd Breland, who also said, and I quote, research has demonstrated, this is what they're saying, y'all, I guess as a means to justify this school choice option being taken away, okay? Here's a quote by Chicago Board of Education Vice President Elizabeth Todd Breland, who said, and I quote, research has demonstrated the harm that's caused by this sorting, okay? The board CEO said these schools lead to, and I quote, stratification and inequity, okay? Now, we know that, and we've talked about this before on the channel, it seems like the way the world is moving towards, or those who are pushing for this are moving towards with equity, inclusion, diversity. Okay, we've heard those three terms before, right? So now it seems like the way I interpret this is that the Chicago Public Schools and the Board of Education in Chicago are wanting to move towards equity, okay, or for whatever reason they feel that there's a lack of equity, or an inequity rather, due to what they're calling sorting, okay, of students through this system of school choice based on the test scores and other things, you know, that I shared earlier. So that's kind of to give you some background. Okay, now let me go back to another article I was speaking about. Now the board, okay, the Board of Education, Chicago Public Schools endorsed a resolution last week to shift the focus and the resources away from the city's selective enrollment schools to neighborhood schools, okay? Selective enrollment schools or high schools that admit students based on middle school grades and standardized exams have, what they're saying, faced intense scrutiny by the notoriously left-wing Chicago Teachers Union, is what they're saying, over their supposed lack of economic and racial equity, okay? They also put equity in quotation marks, okay? Now, the changes, okay, according to my sources, the changes, if enacted, could eliminate the ability, listen to this, y'all, for students to gain admission to selective enrollment schools, some of which are considered among the best high schools in the country. Now, why would they want to really take that away? What do you think is behind this, y'all, okay? Now, again, listen to this, y'all. Data shows the board's concerns are completely unfounded. Listen, Walter Payne College Prep, widely considered the most prestigious and coveted selective enrollment school, is 1/3 Black and Latino and 31% low income. Whitney Young Magnet High School, the alma mater of Michelle Obama, okay, boasts a roughly 43% Black and Latino enrollment and 36% of students coming from low-income households, okay? At Poe or POE Elementary Classical School, 84% of students are Black and 77% of those Black students are proficient in reading, okay? Now, the article continues by saying that Black, Latino, and low-income students are still significantly underrepresented at selective enrollment schools compared to the overall Chicago public school system, but this is not for lack of trying. The admissions process, okay, my sources say, to selective enrollment schools prioritizes applicants from socioeconomically disadvantaged neighborhoods, since metrics such as lower family income and single parent household status are positively correlated with being Black or Latino. This is what they're saying now, okay? Students, according to my sources from these demographics, are disproportionately likely to benefit from the admissions process. Okay, what do you all think about this information so far? So now, also here's what they're saying. Okay, now the article says that while the selective enrollment system has not been a panacea, PANACEA, for so-called, and I quote, social justice in education, Black enrollment, they're saying, has declined at the most coveted selective enrollment schools in recent years, and a racial achievement gap persists. These schools have served as a lifeboat for disadvantaged Chicagoans of all walks of life. Okay, however, according to the sources, instead of working to fix the flaws in the current system by expanding enrollment or building more schools, Chicago Public Schools officials indicated that they are gratified with the board's proposal to nix the prestigious magnet schools, okay? The district said this in a statement, okay? Let me read it. The board's resolution aims to guide engagement and development in partnership with the district on a new strategic plan with an emphasis on strengthening all neighborhood schools as a critical step towards supporting all students and closing opportunity and achievement gaps, okay? Now, the article also says that instead of fixing the supposed opportunity and achievement gaps, that's a quote, in the public school system, the board's resolution would likely make the situation far worse, okay? And I would like to know your thoughts in the comments. The resolution presumes that upper middle class urban families will throw their hands up and send their children to the local neighborhood schools, regardless of its quality. This is highly unlikely to happen, okay? Selective enrollment schools, the article also says, are racially and economically diverse and have excellent outcomes. So what's the problem? Okay, unable to fix the problems in neighborhood schools, Chicago Public Schools administrators have decided to abolish elite high schools in the hope of redistributing high achievers to mediocre schools and artificially raising their performance metrics, okay? If administrators, the article concludes, were actually worried about so-called achievement gaps, they would focus their attention on the dismal performance of the neighborhood schools, okay? No more than 10% of Black students, they're saying, can read or perform math at grade level within Chicago Public Schools, which they're saying is a national disgrace, okay? Now, this problem is not only the problem of students not performing, not being able to read or perform in math at grade level is not just something that is strictly limited to Chicago. This is a problem. This is actually a crisis that's happening all over the country. Not necessarily, now this article mentions Black students, but it's happening with other students as well, okay? What I want to say is this, you know, I could imagine for these parents who have children that have gone through these higher performance schools, these magnet schools, charter schools, I could imagine that they're very upset at this news that the Chicago Public Schools wants to take away this option for the students that has worked, you know, seem to have worked so well for them. I think that, you know, there was a good point brought up about focusing attention on the schools maybe with lower performance. There are different options that can be explored, possibly looking into what are some of the reasons why the parents are opting not to send their child to the neighborhood school, looking at ways to go in and help support the school and raise the academic expectations, attendance expectations, things like that that play a factor. It also has something to do with the communities. You know, ways that the local county, city government can help support the communities of those schools, because we know that there are factors outside of the school that affect the school that often aren't addressed as well. So looking at ways to strengthen the communities economically, to empower communities and the people of their communities, that's going to, when you do that, okay, that's going to help strengthen schools, businesses, household, families in those communities as well. But I want to know your thoughts, okay? Again, y'all, this is one part, okay, of a growing educational crisis that's happening in our country. Okay, I know a lot of times we talk about food shortages, the food crisis, food availability crisis, shipping crisis. We talk about the housing market crisis, real estate crisis, and things like that, right? But often we forget about the many crises. Is that how you say it in plural, y'all? The many crises that are occurring in our public education system. Okay, this is one example that I wanted to bring to your attention, and I also want to get your thoughts on this. Okay, what's really going on in Chicago? Why did he say, okay, during his campaign, Brandon Johnson, why did he say that he wouldn't do it? Okay, I think that's a question that people need to ask as well. Why did he say during the campaign that he wouldn't do it, but now that he's in office, why is he seeking to do it? Okay, what changed? Did he feel pressure from anyone? What's really going on with that? Okay, again, y'all, let me know your thoughts on this. Okay, do you think it is right or wrong? Okay, what are your thoughts on the Board of Education seeking to end selective schools enrollment? Okay, I want to know your thoughts, so please leave your comments. This is very concerning. If the students are doing well and this is an option that has been working well, then why would you want to take this away? What's the real reason behind it? Okay. Thank you always for supporting the channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel, okay, I want to invite you to subscribe, join our community here. And thank you so much for supporting me here on Andrea Speaks TV. Listen, y'all, don't forget your merchandise, okay? I'm telling y'all, the coffee tastes better in the Andrea Speaks TV coffee mug, okay? I have a link in the description where you can order one, okay, and other merchandise. And listen, thank you so much for your support. Be blessed. Take care. This is the Christmas holiday weekend, and I just want to wish blessings, peace, joy, love, and happiness to you and your family, okay? Thank you so much. See you in the next video.